So I was reading the Bible, and when I opened it up the first time, I left off in Chronicles 7, second book of Chronicles 7, chapter 7. Um, I felt uncomfortable with the idea of the temple, so I haven't touched it in a while. But when I came back, um, it seemed to be like going through the entire thing is essentially a retelling from thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. Of everything that happened um, over the last few weeks. The dedication ceremonies, the conversations we had, everything, the Lord's response, Solomon's later building projects, public worship established at the temple, Solomon's fleet, the Queen of Sheba, Solomon's wealth, Solomon's death. We're gonna go back to that. Well, my death, insofar as everything that transpired this last week. The kingdom divided, uh, Rehoboam in Jerusalem, Judah's king Rehoboam, Shishak's invasion. And when I got to Shishak's invasion, um, second book of Chronicles, chapter 12, verse 12. When Rehoboam humbled himself, the Lord's anger turned away from him, and he did not destroy completely. Besides that, conditions were good in Judah. And that phrase gave me pause because it brought me back to thinking about the idea of that transfer that I was speaking about, wherein the people within those situations discover them, and once they discover them, it comes from me. Um, so when Rehoboam humbled himself, the Lord's anger turned away from him, and he did not destroy completely. Besides that, conditions were good in Judah, which is a little joke. I think that dry humor here is funny. But then I went back and started thinking about this insofar as like dedication ceremonies. Like, could this is essentially I would say the fishnet, the birdhouse. You have dedication ceremonies, the Lord's response, the person that is human trafficked. Um, Solomon's later building projects, so solo, motorcycle, being off by yourself. Public worship established at the temple, so within the um, guide, the rules as to what qualifies you for death or whatever. Solomon's fleet, the Queen of Sheba, I'm not exactly sure where, maybe like a siren that pulls you. Solomon's wealth, um, capitalism, let's say, and then Solomon's death. And I think the concept of death, I've said before that I've been that there's been multiple assassination attempts on my life. Um, Back in 2024, I was really scared about the trial, and I was gonna run away to Mexico, and I was terrified to run away to Mexico because of I had gone to my brother's house, and I had like literally told him, like, look, this is what's going on, like I'm terrified that like they're telling me that I should go here, but like I'm terrified, dude, like I don't want, you know, because like I knew that human trafficking was like involved in everything, so like the possibility is always there, and you got to be careful. Death, you know. And then we get into like the concept of over, and like does it matter what happens to you inside of that room once we enter overtime? And then we get to a kingdom divided, and Rehoboam in Jerusalem. So like essentially like within the context of the ritual and everything, like being called a hoe, which I continue to be called a hoe by Judah's king Rehoboam, Shishak's invasion, and then we get to, oh wow, Judah's king Rehoboam. See, this is my issue. This is my issue. I live in two separate realities in which Judah's king Rehoboam, Shishak's invasion, and then Rehoboam's last days. And I haven't gotten to Rehoboam's last days, but like, so all these chapters, like as I look at them, Judah's king Abijah, I'm not sure what that is, but then Judah's king Asa, the Ethiopian invasion, revival under Asa, educational plans, military might. Yeah, that's my military. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, I've been speaking nonsense this entire time. Anyways, it's a great book.